Away, we've broken a lot of the big stories, we've had a lot of the major incidents in football, and we've just picked out just some of the highlights. And last year, of course, was another year of big ones for the Footy Show. And, well, we saw more of Sam than we saw in any other show ever on television.
You know, can't shake this velvet sledgehammer tag. So I went into the history books with Cole Hutchison. I thought Sam Newman's reports over his career, and I thought, how can I lose this image? And I found one that'll lose this image for myself. Round 13, 1975, 2 weeks, Sam Newman abusing a goal umpire.
Why didn't I realise when he took the first lot off that probably the second lot we were going to go in? We're still on there?
Well, that could have been very embarrassing, Sammy. If anyone here had a magnifying glass.
That stupid boy. He looks like one of the Muppets, didn't he? The only really annoying thing is that, you know, if you're going to sell your car, you should give it a good polishing before you do it. And that's the only thing I'm disappointed about. Have I taken some flack over that?
I suppose the question on everyone's lips, though, Sam, was which girlfriend ran over that in their car?
That's only, we might get onto this later, that's only the second, maybe the third time I've actually ever seen you visibly stuck for words or wince or think, what am I doing this for?
I think the other one will come up a little bit later on in the show.
Couldn't be beaten, the other one.
I mean, look, a lot of times people have asked us this year whether things have been staged. For the record, did you have any idea? And obviously you didn't.
No, I tell you what, since 1994, was it, when we started, we have had no idea what we've been doing, and people say that that's just a bit contrived, but honestly and truly, if you could work out the Shane doesn't know what he's going to do, let alone us know what he's going to do, so it's not rehearsed, not contrived, so we just push on.
Well, one other incident that happened last year where there was a lot of questions asked whether or not if it was fair dinkum or not was David Schwartz versus Sam Newman in the big pie fight of the year 2001.
Could I just say this? We did think that David really didn't have a great 150th because of injury.
Yep.
And we've all clubbed together, and seeing as Chris is here, you know how Richmond clapped Stephen Silvani off. Maybe this is where we've all clubbed together and given him this as a present from the pies, and for a great 150th, mate. Just. Jeez, Ed, get that bubble again, will you? That's... All right. If you play like that, I know it didn't have much, if you play like that, you've got to put up with it. I mean, we've got to go and watch that stuff. We are professional commentators, and there's only so many games we can put up with. Now, could you do something next week so that you don't make the competition a farce? Would it be possible? And if you want to have another whack, mate, come right ahead. Come right ahead. Hang on.
Jesus Christ. That's got to be fast.
Come over with me, mate.
That was the second time I've seen you visibly stuck for words, Ed. We haven't got to the main one yet. But he thought you could see a huge brawl about to up there, and Chris Tarrant, I think, sitting had taken the mark of the Eon or whatever he
Well, he had, and Chris, I rang up Chris during the day and said, come on, we've got to get you on the Footy Show. And he said, oh, look, I don't really want to do it, you know, there's been too much made of this mark, I just want to get on. I said, mate, it'll just be a quiet interview, nothing will happen, a couple of questions, you'll be on and off, you'll be home by 10 o'clock.
Suffice to say that the only person more annoyed in the world than you was David's mother.
Yes.
Who went absolutely ape-droppings.
She did.
She did a handspring in the kitchen.
She did. She rang every radio station, complained, thought it was a disgrace. And then Dave said, Mum, just calm down a bit, will you? Trev?
Well, people were outraged, and rightly so.
because you broke the first rule of comedy, because the person who throws the pie must then be a recipient of a pie, and you were not the recipient.
No, well, I think we asked him if he wanted to be part of it later on, and I think he'd been warned off by about every club that he ever belonged to.
The good news is, though, that David Schwartz is now back in town, and he will be back on the Footy Show starting next week. Trev, you've had some great moments on the Footy Show over the years. Let's relive a few of them now with the great man from behind the bar.
Can't help noticing, mate. I don't know why we should miss you out. You've put on a bit over the summer, mate. You're looking very, very rotund.
Well, there's good reason for that, Sammy, because every time I slept with your mother, she gave me a biscuit. It was most bewildering for Ange, because he was streaming down the ground on his own, and the crowd yelled, "Ball!" Is that the Keno girl, Mickey McCarthy, up in the box there?
It is, and...
She's waiting for the balls to drop. She's at the wrong end. Yeah, Harry, don't duck straight off, mate. You left your car keys over here, mate. It's not his fault, viewers. He was raised by wolves. We know him as Warwick Capel, but his Cherokee name is Dances with a Gut Full of Bourbon. Support us done. What's the next week's question? Are imbeciles stupid? Can you give me an easier question, Sammy? Like, what time does the 7:30 report start? Or, what are lamb chops made of? Which way to the noodle exchange? Yeah, mate, you're going well down there. Even your beatings are taking a beating. Sammy, you're really pushing it tonight. Be careful, he'll whack you with his wooden spoon.
I'm just keeping a lid on it at the moment.
Look at him. How much does he love Nathan Buckley? Ed, look, I want to ask you a question, mate. If you came home and found Nathan Buckley in bed with your wife, which side would you get him? I was talking to Russell Gilbert recently, Dougie, and he said that he actually saw your last game that you played for Fitzroy, and he said in the last quarter you actually put your hand down your own pants, and it was the only touch you got all day. About a guy that comes home to find his wife in passionate embrace with another, and he flies into a total rage, and he grabs the guy and he takes him out the back of the house and leads him into the tool shed, where he places the guy's member in a vice. He then picks up a hacksaw, and the guy says, "Blimey, mate, you're not going to chop it off, are you?" He said, "No, you are. I'm about to set fire to the shed." That's a great effort following Essendon for 100 years. Do you think you'll stick with them? Two have obviously been through a wonderful experience together. Did you get it on video?
No, I didn't get it on video.
No, well, how about the birth? Are you okay now that the other relationship's over? I heard you. I heard you were a bit crushed. The Footy Show video, there it is. Let's have a look at the caption above Sam's head. It says, "Stillwell Ford, we put people in front of cars."
Let's have a look at the main arrivals for the West Coast Eagles. This is Josh Wooden. And this is Nicholas Stone. That's it?
Yeah, I'm very glad Brett Hetty wasn't a new arrival.
I told you not to come on camera while we were doing it, all right?
Why? So next time Roland takes your temperature, make sure it is actually a thermometer, all right?
I'm doing a run, guys. You want something?
Yeah, get us something cold.
Yeah, get us some cold. Natural energy. Get it in ya.
The original energy source. I've got tinea, itchy as. So the Lamisil people gave me their cream and this camera. They reckon you only need to use Lamisil for 1 week to treat tinea between the toes. That's fast. You've got to rub these on for around 3 weeks. Get real. This is on.
Day 5. Almost there.
I'm sold. Lamisil is the fastest treatment for tinea between the toes.
Because life is too short to waste time, LG is designing a digital video recorder that records your favorite programs on DVD. So you can watch it whenever you want on a widescreen plasma television. The LG Digital Home Network. It's closer than you think. LG, life's good.
Formula! Where is the formula?
Have you got the formula?
Men can sweat up to 50% more than women. So you need a hard-working antiperspirant created especially for men. New Rexona Forces for Men. It won't let you down.
Damn it!
Dougie, how are you?
I'm good. 2 large pizzas, your pepperoni dipsticks, and a 4-pack of Time Out ice cream. It's only $24.95.
Fantastic.
I know. Dermot, what about a tip?
Work hard, be good to your mother. Always wanted to say that.
Every year, there are over 2,400 deaths or injuries in streets like these across Victoria. So now, any street without a speed zone sign in the built-up area has a limit of 50 kilometres per hour. Remember, if there's no sign, it's 50.
To steal the ultimate prize and catch the ultimate thief, you have to set the ultimate trap.
What do you have in mind for bait?
Sunday night at the movies.
There can be nothing personal. You do your part, I do mine.
Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
This is called entrapment.
Actually, it's called blackmail.
Jump aboard the blockbuster premiere, where one wrong move could be your last. Entrapment, 8:30 Sunday on 9.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, over the 3 years of the Footy Show, the 2 and a bit years of the Footy Show, old Channel Rex have thrown just about everything they can muster at us. They've had, they've had faulty towers, they've had Julia Roberts on the other night, but we've been able to stand firm. Tonight, however, they have thrown nudity at us in an attempt to knock us off. But as usual, the Footy Show rises to the occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sam Newman. You know. The hamburger. What do you reckon? What do you reckon about that? The most nervous one I reckon ever was the first one we saw there when you came out in the nude, because we should explain to people at home. On that occasion, Sam was in the dressing room beforehand, and we were all a bit nervous about him dropping the football and exposing himself. We shouldn't have worried, because it happened eventually anyway. But tell people about you trying to camouflage yourself with a toilet roll holder.
I know, I had a...
And then there was a sock, and then we were trying to find a place to clip on the microphone.
Clipping on the microphone to your hairs in your chest was pretty painful. We tried to camouflage the old wizard with a toilet roll holder, and then someone said it was a fraction big, and I can hear you all saying, yes, we agree with that. So then we got
a burrow.
We got down to a sort of a microscopic sort of tube that you'd use in a catheter in the end. And so then we thought, no, bugger it, we'll just hope we don't drop the football.
And then when you started going one hand to one hand on the football.
Oh, no, just trying to get you to have one of your great moments of disbelief, Ed. And of course, went overseas, that in fact, Bill Clinton, they thought that was a perfect replica of what Bill did in his Oval Office when he would look down. Well, that's a bit hard to explain what he was doing down there, isn't it? Johnny Hopperwato with the hand up the cow, that got universal acclamation from around the world. Enough from Johnny.
Trevor, we have to get you doing some opening soon, right?
Well, actually, we did find out what happened to the end of Daniel Cheek's finger. You actually said that to Hopperwato.
Geez. We have broken a few big stories on the Footy Show, and some strange ones as well. And one that we did one night was really left everybody in disbelief until it actually eventuated the following Saturday. Here's what happened when the good old navy blues became the light blues of M&M's. And tonight we have got an absolute ripper of an exclusive which will be breaking in a few moments' time. It is set to absolutely rock the traditionalists of the game, and it concerns the Carlton Football Club. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Carlton fans, sit down, get a nice fluffy pillow and put it under your head. This is the big one so far this year. On Sunday, April 13, 1997 at 2 p.m, Carlton will run on to Optus Oval, but they won't be the Navy Blues. They will be the M&M Light Blues. I understand the Carlton Football Club...
Is it a joke, is it?
Not a joke. This is absolutely serious. I understand. The Carlton Football Club, we might just blues the music because people might misunderstand what we're saying here. This is absolutely ridgy-didge. I understand the Carlton Football Club has done a deal with the confectionery company M&M's, who will release a new blue-coloured M&M during the week of April 13. The match is Carlton's first game at home and will also be the official opening day of the new Carlton stand, and given the fact they have to pay that stand off, you can understand why they've gone to such lengths. While we haven't had confirmation on the exact colour, we do believe that one of football's most sacred jumpers will look like the Greg Williams jumper we just saw there. Let's have a look at it again.
Well, I can say, Eddie, it's lucky that Ansell didn't sponsor them. They'll be the first club to be wearing a rib jumper. What do we all look like? You look like a cross between Basil Rathbone and Ben Turpin. What do I look like then? Was it the hair? I've lost track of what I used to look like, Ed. Well, I actually used to look like that.
This is the most embarrassing thing, just looking at what has happened over the last 8 years. Well, that was the M&M story. Of course, people finally got their head around that idea. But the night we came on and declared that Gary Hocking was taking on a new name, well, that was stretching things to a point that we didn't think we'd ever get to. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you tonight that I've had the pleasure over the last 6 years of breaking a number of big stories on this show. After we introduce everybody here, I'm going to break a story tonight which is going to have the whole of the football world talking. And I'm not mucking around. It is, I must admit, in all the years that I've covered footy, and it's been a fair while now, so when I was 14, this is the most bizarre, true story of all time. Many people would remember a couple of years ago we broke the story here on the Footy Show about the Carlton Football Club and their deal with M&M's, and that's the jumper they wore on that occasion. Of course, the light blue M&M's, and we thought, well, that's about as far as you can go as far as commercialising the game, to actually give up your jumper for a commercial act. Well, this one absolute tops it. An AFL captain has today, and I have in front of me, a deed poll name change, has changed his name for 1 week to Whiskers. As you could imagine, tying it in, yep, meow, meow. The captain of the Geelong Football Club, Gary Andrew Hocking, I'm reading from the deed poll, Gary Andrew Hocking of Cobram has now changed his name legally and has to be called Whiskers. Do you have a cat?
I don't have a cat, but I am being involved in this whole deal, and certainly I would be looking at adopting something down the line.
Yes, well, it makes it easy for his opponent. He doesn't have to man up, he just has to go...
Oh, dear. Yeah. I ate some of the stuff too, Ed.
Yeah, he did later on in that ticket.
Yeah.
The old Cats, mate. What did you think of that?
No, it was the way to go, because took a bit of the heat off their performances on the field at that stage, Ed. Everyone got some jocularity out of that, but it was good of Gary to do it, and he went along with it and did it for the club.
He certainly did, and the club did reasonably well out of it. Gary got really 4/5 of nothing for it, so it was a fantastic effort, and good luck to Gary Hocking, who's playing in the VFL this year. Trev?
Well, it was a nice touch when they made him run out onto the ground through a little flap.
Exactly. Well, Sam, of course, was quite complimentary there about his old Cats, and wasn't it good to see Darryl Summers as the #1 ticket holder? They've bypassed you to be #1 ticket holder.
No, it is very good to see Darryl being #1 ticket holder of the club. And we've had our moments, but I'm very fond of the Cats. Don't worry about that, Ed. But sometimes, and you're going to find this out very shortly when you're commentating, you've got to call it as you see it. So don't think we won't be standing by to see you call the Collingwood games as you see them.
Do you think that'll get a bit of scrutiny, do you?
I think it possibly will. That's the only reason I think we're doing it, isn't it?
Well, at times Sam has certainly put his love of the Cats to one side to really let them know honestly what he thinks of them. A new big signing for the Geelong Football Club. Yes, their new #1 women's ticket holder is joining us on the Footy Show. Please put your hands together for the First Lady of Geelong and the First Lady of Victoria, Felicity Kennett.
G'day, Ed. How's it going, mate?
Welcome aboard, Felicity. I didn't know you followed the footy.
The Catters, the mighty Catters.
Hermione, what does it actually feel like to be the #1 pussy?
I actually had a question for Sam. Now, #1 female ticket holder, is it the first time it's ever been non-playing?
No, but now what do you think when people like me actually have a go at you?
Well, being a past grade of the football club, Sam, where you respect your opinion most of the time, but I just think the footy club now are quite sick of a past player, a great name in football, a patron of the Stand Up and Fight campaign, bagging the team week in, week out.
Well, I don't do it week in, week out. I do.
How piss weak are Geelong? Is that the most disgraceful piss weak, inept, mentally stuffed performance you've ever seen from a side aspiring to survive, not only survive, but also pretend to be a final threat? Is that the most piss weak effort you've ever seen? Well, it is pathetic. I mean, what a bunch of imposters.
I mean, you're levelling these allegations at today's players.
I am.
Surely it's fair for them to say, well, mate, you had your chance. You didn't cut the mustard.
Ed.
And we move on, and now it's our go. Leave us alone.
Ed, this is a cultural thing at Geelong. I said I was part of it. It's been a part of Geelong they're down there, we are down there. If I didn't give a stuff about the club, Ed, I wouldn't even bother bringing this up. In fact, I wouldn't be part of the club.
You obviously want to help the club. I want you to prove to the Geelong Football Club how you can help us.
Well, I tell you, Ben, I'm, as I say, one of the very few people that ever return to a club in some capacity to try and help it. I go to all your pissy functions. I go to all the membership drives. I'm a patron of the club, and I'm not going to put up any more with weak, lily-livered performances like that without saying it. And they're disgraceful performances, and everyone would agree except no one would have the guts to say it.
What does this honour mean to you to be named in the Geelong Team of the Century?
It is a tremendous honour when you consider that it is over 100 years old, a football club, and I am guilty. My greatest sin or crime is being emotionally involved with the club, and I could almost promise that I will not be emotionally involved anymore. I don't think it's worth it. This is not a sort of de facto roast.
It's a roast. It's a Martin roast with Sam Newman.
Surprise, not the second taping of Surprise, is it?
No.
Well, all that's a bit of theatre, isn't it, Ed? Some of it's a bit of theatre. But of course, the club stepped into the right direction now. I think they've embraced better figureheads than me. I think Gary Ablett's returned to the club, so perhaps they're going to give him a crack at lifting the stocks of the club.
Well, as we've seen over the years, Sam can be quite aggressive about his beloved Cats, but the town of Adelaide holds something special to your heart.
Now that is something different over there, Ed. I know we keep saying it, but they are a different lot of people over there, and we have a love-hate relationship, mainly hate, and on very good terms and a very good basis for having a hate relationship with Adelaide. If you have a look at some of the people walking around the streets on any given day.
Well, I remember Trev said he spent 3 weeks there one weekend, or at least it seemed that way anyway, Trev.
Yes, but Sam's the one that knows more on Adelaide.
Yeah, more on exactly. Let's have a look at Sam Newman's postcards of the town of Adelaide.
We're the pride of South Australia, we're known as the Adelaide Crows. We're courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes.
But now, some words of encouragement for the City of Adelaide and the state of South Australia from your very own Ambassador, Sam Newman.
One of the quaint customs fast disappearing from most civilised countries are roll-away stairs. Not so here in Adelaide. One of the joys and links of a bygone era, particularly if the weather is inclement. That is, it's pissing down. Pity we couldn't just sit on the plane and they roll the city out to us. Ah yes, Adelaide, so much more than just half an hour behind.
Side of the border here, and when I step over here, I'm on the other side of the border. And when I step back, I'm on the Victorian side again, and back into the drive there. That's where they go to go over here. We're at Border Town, the birthplace of former Australian Prime Minister Bobby Hawke. And a little known fact is that when the mayoress said to Bobby, would you like a statue just to commemorate your great leadership, Bobby said, how about a little head, love? And here it is, South Australia, in the middle of nowhere.
I'm doing a run, guys. You want something? Yeah, get us something cold. Yeah, get us something cold. Natural energy. Get it in ya.
The original energy source.
AXA presents 9 News Stock Market Report. AXA, investments, insurance and superannuation.
A strong rally today saw the market finish just short of a record high. The All Ords jumped 43 points, the heavyweights having the best of it, led by News Corp and Telstra. News gained 44 cents after a surge in New York overnight, while Telstra put on 18 thanks to a better profit outlook from its first half results. BHP firmed 18 cents, helped by an oil discovery, while the strong GDP figures helped the banks advance.
Can you hear that? Can you hear it?
LG's IntelliWasher with direct drive is so gentle on your clothes and whisper quiet, you'll hardly notice it's on. LG, life's good.
awfully hot.
Coles Super Specials have red hot savings like Meadow Leaf Spread, 500 grams, just $1.67 each, save 62 cents. And Nescafe Blend 43 Coffee, 500 grams, only $13.97 each, save $4.08.
Sink or swim.
The kid with no lessons will go straight to the bottom.
One child dies every week.
He's dead. Your son's dead. Boy, didn't I hear.
Laurie Lawrence's passionate crusade.
Rather have a kid cry than a kid dead.
The row over teaching kids to swim.
You can tell that to your paediatrician friends.
Also, the elephants who fooled the Aussie artwork
Picasso, Chagall and Sauveur.
and saved themselves. When Toyota presents 60 Minutes, Sunday, 7:30.
Don't think I'm one of those dills you pick up, because I'm not. What do you do? You pick up those that you think are non-compass, and I'm not like that. I'm not stupid. Yeah.
Graham Corns, the Adelaide coach, is elected to watch his wife give birth rather than coach the side. What do you reckon of that?
Well, he'd probably see a better spectacle.
Maybe. Next year we'll see. Have a pair of shorts on the bank and put them on for us. We have a look at the old pins.
Oh, I haven't got bad legs.
Yes, look. Yes, look. Just up to your knees.
Want to hear a song?
Let's sing a song for the Sydney Swans. The Sydney Swans.
As he needs me.
Now this is the real hub of what might go on outside the courts. Madam, you must watch.
I'm not a madam, sorry.
A big girls?
I said I'm not a madam, thanks.
Madam?
No, I'm not. I'm a fella, like you.
You're a fella?
Yeah. Don't want me to prove it to you, do you?
Sam, I'll bear my bum on this track if he wins this race.
I don't think we've got a wide enough lens, mate. What is it like to rub shoulders with huge wits and intellects like Mike Sheehan and Lee Matthews and Bruce and who else is there? Sandy. Hey?
Jason Dunstall.
Jesus. And we were worried we got rid of him. Hello.
Who is he, Sammy? It looks like you want to go and see.
St Kilda guys to a function.
St Kilda guys? We're talking about Western Bulldogs, baby!
Do you go to the football a lot?
Yes.
Do you shout out in the outer and everything like that?
No.
Who do you go with?
My mum?
Your dear old mum. Does she shout out a lot?
Only when she's spastic.
I don't think we can say that, Jake.
I'm thrilled, actually. I'm literally thrilled to bits. It's a huge honour.
It was a special night.
It was very special.
As you can see, two types of lions here. The Indian lion, which hunts in packs and mainly moves at night. And, of course, then there's the one lying down there with the crook back. That's the Gary lion, who just lies around doing stuff all. Are you excited at the minute? It's a bit hard to tell under the lap.
We've got a little bit of something for modesty here, but not much.
Oh, yeah, because you are looking modest.
At the back, it's the role of my gynecologist.
Oh, Jesus, that's nothing, mate. Have a look at that. Have you seen a better ass than that?
No, I haven't.
Hi, Sam. How are you? Congratulations, Darryl.
Thank you.
We're on the National 9 Network Footy Show, and you're a star, and we only look up to you, and we revere you. And I know you think I'm pissed, but I'm not. 28 years, it's been sensational, and it was great to see you afforded the acclamation of an award tonight.
Firstly, thank you for getting that out.
No,
I'm not wearing any underwear. Can't show you.
Well, you can, just
No.
a bit. Just
It's not on.
Right, she's not either. Jeez, looks like a hinterland down there.
There's any nice football players out there who'd like be obliging, you know, who'd come along and do the obligatory thing. That would be nice.
Another quick look.
I'll do the whole team even.
Are you talking about Al McPherson? Jesus, she's a fair piece, isn't she?
Man, where's the wheel? Where's the wheel? I want to spin the wheel, mate.
I got a feeling it's round your guts, Bill.
Hey, I tell you what, there's some talent here tonight, Sam. Some good talent.
And you would be a fine judge in the state you're in, just at the to go over well with the missus. You managed to cut anyone from the herd, Bill?
I'll tell you what, L is a chance tonight. I'm just going to put a bit...
Elle wouldn't vomit on you.
Council?
I am, madam. I'm coming down. I'm masquerading as a council person. You got any problems at all we can fix for you?
Our street up here needs the
Pavement?
pavement, yeah, and where the trees grow out.
The roots of uprooted
Yes,
the bitumen.
Yeah, could you report that?
I will. Yeah, what street is that? Just up there.
Avenue, yes.
Oh, Hornsby.
Horsley?
Horsley.
Yeah, you should know if you're from the council.
Every street intimately, madam. Is anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, no, I enjoy watching the footy show all the time and that.
Yeah. Well, you'd be one of our demographic. You're the average person that watches the show, are you?
Yeah, I have a good laugh all the time. Especially when you go and interview all them stupid idiots in Adelaide. They haven't got a brain at all.
Oh, dear. No trees growing into the power lines or anything like that?
Could be.
Need to be pruned?
Yes. Yeah, could
that
be.
too?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name's Frank.
Okay, Frank. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Why have you got the cameras on?
Well, because we want to record all the complaints that we have, and then we have a council meeting and we decide, we prioritise which we should fix first. Your road and footpath will be first on the list, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're not enjoying this much, are you, mate? You okay?
Dear me. Look, could I just tell people, Ed, in case you think we hone in on the idiots, that's absolutely correct. What we do is, look, I tell you, we arrive at a spot that we think's topical, and we have a camera and, a producer and a sound recorder, and we get out and we do not insist people speak to us. If they don't want to speak to us, they just say no thanks or go away, or they go across the other side of the road. But the people that speak to you, when you turn the light on, we think it's like when you're on a porch at night about 2 in the morning. You know how moths fly around the light? We think it attracts them. We think they think it's another world or a planet, and they come up and some of them actually head back. They come and go, and you start talking to them. And if we have universally, since we've been started, 2 people have only ever complained they've been on, and a lot of people don't want to be on, so we don't put them on. And of course, when in doubt, if there's no topical place to go, we go to the Footscray Mall, Ackland Street, or down to Dandenong. We go to Dandenong. Oh, we go to Preston a bit too. Frankston we go to. No, but it's, look, honestly, if you want to come and chat to us, fine. If you don't, well, that's fine as well. Good on you, mate. Well, one time, we were in trouble for perpetrating a bit of a hoax. Was our 100th show anniversary. We did a special show, and we decided to put together some of the highlights of the first 100 shows. Anyway, let's have a look at it. We'll talk about it on the other side.
You and me, can we be partners? You and me. Association, one that never ends. You and me, can we be partners? You and me, can we be friends? All the kids and mums and daddies, that's where
The big incident that we all remember was the time that you had a go at umpire Kevin Smith. You took the old mouth guard out, you threw it down. But in all seriousness, you do like the umpires, don't you?
Condom meeting.
Look, we are on national TV, mate, and it is live, so mate, but seriously, about the umpires, they weren't all bad too, sure.
Oh, they're all f***ing maggots.
Bobby, I must...
Get your f***ing hands off me. Well, it'd go well with Don Scott, wouldn't it, a hamburger?
We've got nowhere to go, Bobby, if you keep I mean, we've got to just ask you to moderate.
You used to be right up the umpire's
shut up.
We might have to call an end to this interview, okay? And look, I'm sorry,
If
mate.
you don't want to listen for the rest of the story, you can get
Robbie Mad Dog there with us, and of course Sheeds there with Trev singing early on. Now, what the funny thing was so many people came up to us and said, geez, I remembered all those things happening in the first 100 shows, but I couldn't remember Robbie Muir doing that. I thought I'd seen every footy show. The thing was, of course, for our 100th show, everything was, in fact, staged and stooged, and we made it all up.
Well, in fact, I was talking to Robbie straight after the show, and he came up to me. He said, I don't know about that, Trevor. I don't know. I said, what's the matter? He said, people are going to think that's for real. I said, yeah. So he said, my mum thinks it's real. She's going to belt me.
But somebody's belting Robbie after all these years. Well, a controversial incident happened. You might have seen Sam wearing a wig there because the 100th show, I think from memory, was either a week or 2 weeks after this incident. And you'll see why Sam had to wear the wig on the 100th anniversary show.
Can you move anything?
No.
You're totally restricted. So no, nothing else.
Don't worry, I won't cheat. I won't show you up. I won't cheat you up. Right, do it now.
No, I don't want you to do anything. You don't think I didn't know about this at any stage, do you? You honestly think I'm going to walk in here and not know anything that's going on? Can I have my accessories, please? You have been at my hair all night.
I'll just tell you one thing. Jason, let me give you a word of advice. Excellent. Let me give you a word of advice. I've got some ads to do. I've got some photographs to do. I've got a TV ad to do. So don't you be doing that, all right?
If I was to use these, it'd take all night. There you go. And this could be all right. Don't worry about that.
I'm warning you now, Jason. This would be the silliest thing you've ever done.
Come here.
I'm telling you.
Get here.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Stay there. This is fantastic.
Is he doing that? Is he doing that? How much to the Royal Children's Hospital appeal if he kisses me on the lips?
There you go.
You kiss me on the lips?
You know things are crook when Mark Jackson's disgusted by an act on television.
Dear. Jason now is I think he was in that first opening show, the first opening, which is tautology.
Yeah, redundant tautology.
Yeah, redundant tautology. I myself personally saw him there. Now, in the first show, and just what a magnificent, clinical, austere, boring, fattish man now he is.
What do you actually think of him?
No, he's a great bloke, Jason. He's well, we've got James Hurd.
Good luck to Jason. Dougie. Dougie, of course, we called him Braveheart because no one slaughtered more English.
Doug's back at Western Bulldogs, which is fantastic to see too. So well done to Jace and to Dougie, who've been fantastic pals of us on the show here, and we're there in the early days. And James Hurd's coming back.
No, that'll be good. He'll add some credibility to the show, a bit like Matthew Lloyd. They're very sincere and sort of not too ebullient out there, are they?
No.
Listening, very on the road. They let Kevin be a clown and complete idiot most of the time, and then they just play the football.
Well, we saw Sam have his hair shaved there by Jason Dunstall. He did appear as a nude nut one other time in this very memorable singing experience.
It's been 7 hours and 50 days since you took your love away. I go out every night and sleep all day since you took your love away. Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whomever I choose. I can eat my dinner in a bed.
fight for white Australia.
This man thinks Hitler was good.
Racial hatred in Melbourne.
You are a lad putting out the trash that you put out.
A former KKK leader turns on his own.
It's a world of violence and a world of hate.
A Current Affairs 6:30.
It's great to be coming back. It's going to be a big challenge, I think.
The last piece of the jigsaw is, can I still do it?
Footy's back, and everyone wants to be
Look,
part
I
of
can't confirm anything at this stage.
Well, I'm not saying yes, and I'm not saying no, right?
Rumour has it that Greg Williams could be lining up for the Blues.
元 AFL スタービリー・ブラウンですが
I'll come off the bench as long as I get a game.
See how your team's shaping up for 2002 in the Wizard Home Loans Cup.
Say to you, he did
The crispy fillet burger with a whole crispy coated fillet of succulent Red Rooster chicken. It's the burger you've been wishing for. Now at Red Rooster.
Want a $20 bonus every month? Join Telstra Mobile More for You today and you can get a bonus of up to $20 off your bill every month. Join Telstra Mobile today. For details, call 125 111. Visit your Telstra shop or Telstra Mobile Net dealer now.
Until Friday at Kmart, you can get this PlayStation 2 console for just $494.
And a remote control, this DVD and this CD for only $14 more. Kmart is the home of low prices.
You only have until Monday to witness the evolution of the species. The Melbourne Motor Show at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre ends this Monday. Catch them before they're extinct.
One of the greatest stories ever told.
He wants to be a musketeer.
Is completely reimagined. The Musketeer.
In cinemas now. The crispy fillet burger with a whole crispy coated fillet of succulent Red Rooster chicken. It's the burger you've been wishing for. Now at Red Rooster.
Who's toughest, Aussie rules or rugby league? Get ready for a huge night of entertainment with Billy Forbes, Scandalous, plus 5 bouts in the Clash of the Codes, including Jackson versus Meninga. The McDonald's Fight for Life, 8:30 Saturday on 9.
The big story tonight in football is that the Fitzroy Football Club is on the market, despite denials late today from President Dyson Hall-Lacey QC. I understand that discussions between Fitzroy and at least 5 clubs are in progress for a merger that will be announced shortly. Of course, only a couple of hours ago, the big news is that the Brisbane Bears and the Fitzroy Lions have merged to become the Brisbane Fitzroy Lions and will trade as the Brisbane Lions from 1997.
Round 20 at Optus Oval, you play Fitzroy. That's an interesting one.
It's a chance to build a percentage, isn't it?
A lot of people today said that the North Melbourne Fitzroy merger wouldn't work because of the cultural differences, and well, we've had a look at the respective grand final breakfasts from last year. Let's have a look at this one. Of course, this is the traditional North Melbourne grand final breakfast, one of the biggest breakfasts in the entire world. Have a look at this, absolute thousands there. There's Lou Richards next to John Brumbury, Jeff Kennett, all the top bowlers, and this is the Fitzroy breakfast from last year that Sam attended.
Yeah, this is very... Well, look, not content with over 237 shows breaking some of the biggest football stories in the world and all other places, Trev, if that wasn't big enough, just fresh back from the United Nations, having tried to take over them, Ed thought he'd have a crack at being the Collingwood president, as if that wasn't big enough doing the world, but he thought, no, I'll give myself a real challenge, I'll take over Collingwood, and that's the only story he didn't tell us about.
Well, we did a little bit of it, but yeah, there's a little bit of backroom stuff going on at the time, Sam. But
you just couldn't help yourself. You thought, I'll just jump in here, just dive right in. I'm a passionate Collingwood man, and why not put my money where my mouth is?
Well, it was a bit like that. It was a bit more like, you know, the fact you'd been around doing stories on different things over the years, and you decide, well, if you reckon you can do it, have a go, because the Maggies were going a bit paltry at that stage.
And as you sit here, now that Channel 9 and 10 and Foxtel have the football, you can still relaxed enough as you are, Ed, so there's no conflict of interest about you calling football, being the Collingwood president and running the whole world.
There's no conflict because, a bit like yourself being nude on air, and I am the bloke in the glass house. Everyone knows where I'm coming from, so I have no problems at all. People know that I love my footy club. I barrack for Collingwood, obviously. I'm now the president, but at least I know where I'm coming from. I'll call it as accurately as possible. But anyway, Sam, here's when it all blew up down at Victoria Park.
It's a masterstroke, Ed. Yeah, I mean, if I know Collingwood are getting beat and you're calling, I'll be watching.
Oh, I know. How's that going to be? All right, let's hope it doesn't happen too many times this year. But as Sam said, it all happened on the footy show when we went down to Victoria Park. I don't know what's going on. I'm always nervous when Sam's not back in a break. What's going on?
Just road testing your head, Ed. You know, if you win another game, I reckon you've got to road test the doors. You'll never get it through. How am I looking?
Actually, we had a bet, Ed. Try it on. We weren't sure if it was going to fit.
Sam, I've never felt like this before, but...
Ed, how are we going, do you reckon?
I think that's about enough.
I tell you what, Ed, I can feel it. I think she's going to blow, Ed. Can you hear me, Ed? I'm 54 years of age, Ed. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sammy, I can hear you.
And I never ever thought I'd hear myself say these words. I can't take any more head, Ed. And of course, Ed, that was, I think, after you'd won 5 on the trot in Mick Malthouse's inaugural year as coach, and the world looked as though it was going to be yours.
It was a big 5 weeks, I can tell you, Sam, no doubt about that. Well, we had an interesting development after a Collingwood promotion with M&M's one time, and the promotion was that there was going to be a green M&M would come out, and it was marketed as if it had aphrodisiac properties in it. Here's what happened when Sam OD'd on aphrodisiac M&M's.
Is that M&M or S&M? And I believe actually Mars were going to sponsor Collingwood, but they decided you can work and rest, but you just can't play.
Yeah, there's an interesting sideline to that. You've got to tell us, Ed, about the managing director of Mars or M&M's from the States came out here.
They came out for the big promotion. This is going to be the launch of Crispies, and apparently they're watching the show from a hotel room, and when, of course, you violated the M&M mascot.
Because it's sacred.
It's sacred. You can't don't touch the mascot, was what we were told. Don't do anything with it. That's what the M&M's mascot's all about. And apparently the Australian blokes just, oh no, what are they doing? What are these blokes doing? Who are these guys? This is a disgrace. And anyway, the head bloke from America has watched it all happen. He said, that was absolutely magnificent, at which time all the Australians, yes, we planned all that. Yes. And stroke of masterpiece there in the marketing department. But well, I'll tell you what, M&M's have had a very good run on the show. They've been good to us. We'll take a break, and as we go to the break, we'll relive one of the high spots of, well, the footy show's 8 years on air, and that was when we went to London, and what a show it was.
I said, do you speak my language, brother? You just smiled, picked me a Vegemite sandwich. He said, I come from a land down under. The feelers blow and men thunder. A woman too. Did you hear, could you hear the thunder? Then I run, then I take cover. Pick up the fruit and stay in bed. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Amen. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Amen. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Amen. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
This weekend, it's make or break for Richmond and Adelaide. Head-to-head in the first semi-final, the Tigers versus the Crows. Friday, 8:30 in the Wizard Home Loans Cup on Channel 9.
I'm doing a run, guys. You want something? Yeah, get us something cold. Yeah, get us something cold. Natural energy. Hit it in ya.
The original energy source. Want a $20 bonus every month? Join Telstra Mobile More for You today and you can get a bonus of up to $20 off your bill every month. Join Telstra Mobile today. For details, call 125 111. Visit your Telstra shop or Telstra Mobile Net dealer now.
Lust. Give in to it.
This March, Toyota gives you a huge advantage. Like this Hilux Workmate 4x2 5-speed manual cab chassis with the advantage of safety self, side door anti-intrusion beams and superior payload from just $14,990 with power steering. So feel the advantage of huge savings for this March only, because there's no better feeling than a Toyota sale. Oh, what a feeling, Toyota!
Damn it!
Dougie, how are you?
I'm good. 2 large pizzas, your pepperoni dipsticks, and a 4-pack of Time Out ice cream. It's only $24.95.
Fantastic.
I know. Damn it. What about a tip? Work hard, be good to your mother.
Always wanted to say that.
With Aussie, you could save $100,000 on your home loan. It's not rocket science. Call Aussie on 13 13 33 and we'll show you how. At Aussie, we'll save you!
Until Friday at Kmart, you can get this PlayStation 2 console for just $494.
And a remote control, this DVD and this CD for only $14 more. Kmart is the home of low prices.
Were we interrupting something?
The one habit everybody loves. The Footy Show returns soon on 9.
I haven't actually seen it from the front. Do you mind if I just take a quick peek?
Come around and have a look there. You've got the beautiful
It's
North
looking
Melbourne.
absolutely fabulous.
There
I
it is.
mean, we have arrived in
You
town.
bloody idiot, Ryan! You fucking... Well, that's when Roland, I think, drove me. I couldn't drive. I was incapacitated. Had a reasonably ordinary year in 97. I'd been run over, struck down at my doorstep by an unfortunate incident. And I think the Crows won the flag that year. So all in all, it had been a very disappointing year for me. And Roland was riding me in one of those Pantechnicons, or whatever that's called, and crashed through the back of the set at the opening of the show. And Roland, God love him. He's a good man, Roland, though, isn't he? Yeah, we think he's a man, a very good man. Well, one other incident that caused plenty of drama, as unintentional as it was when Sam Newman put the blackface on in the grand old days of comedy and television. Really was what you were thinking, weren't you?
I was, Ed, and that was done in about 15 seconds, much to your chagrin. I know that is the best I've ever heard. If you can just watch Ed's reaction, don't watch anyone else's. When I came on there with the face painted black, and we've actually sworn to a little secrecy. We had a session of mediation, which I think we're not allowed to disclose the actual goings-on of. That's part of the charter and the tacit agreement you have with them. Notwithstanding the fact that was the greatest beat-up ever in the history of any media publication and broadcasting ever in the history of the world.
Yeah. Nicky hadn't even seen it, had he?
Couldn't give us stuff, Nicky. Wonder if I've just started all this again.
Yeah, hello. Anyhow, Henry Jolson, QC.
No, Henry Jolson was fantastic. He was doing the job he was asked to do. He was fantastic. There's not a criticism of that at all. But anyhow, when I came back on with the face painted black, which I went out into the makeup room and got some black stuff and did it myself, and I walked behind you and you turned around. That's the best reaction I've ever seen. You went, Jesus. Because I reckon in about 3 seconds you summed up what was going to happen in the next 3 weeks.
As soon as you walked on, and because it was the last break for the show.
I wasn't smart enough to work out what was
set it up,
on.
Nicky Winwell was supposed to be a guest on the show, and he didn't front. So Sam started to tell jokes all through the day, all through the show about how Nicky wasn't here, and we got to the last segment. He went backstage, decided he was going to imitate Nicky Winmar by putting blackface on him and coming on, and as Sam said, I sort of flipped up as he walked on as the show started, and I just knew what was going to happen. Anyway, let's relive it. Welcome back to the Footy Show, the final segment of the night, and we're going west for the Derby, as they like to say in WA. It's Fremantle versus the West Coast Eagles. Plenty of drama.
Sorry I'm late, mate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, this is as close as we could get. He's not here. Don't ask me some questions about the Western Bulldogs. I know everything. I know all the players. I thought they'd be delighted, the Western Bulldogs fans, to see.
Fremantle play the West Coast
I don't reckon this is the Footy Show. This is another show that the network have got up, is it? This is make a dickhead out of the staff. Now, Ed, I can see your brain all through that, just watching that. That's the first time I've ever been game to watch it again. To see your brain ticking over,
I just knew.
What is this?
I looked up
idiot
at Trev. I looked
doing?
up at Trev, and Trev was going, "Oh no!" And you could just see what was going to happen, and boy, did it happen for the next week. But
it is a new show, Ed. Make a dickhead out of the star. It'll be easy to produce.
No, I said staff. I didn't say star. No, don't worry. I wouldn't have said that about myself. Did I say that Nicky didn't give us stuff? I'll take that back. He did give us stuff. Yeah. That's just for the record. Yeah. That's on the record. Off the record, he couldn't have given us stuff. On the record, he did.
All right, let's move on. And Dr. Peter Larkins, of course, is a bloke who's already been well entrenched in Channel 9 football this year. He's been the doctor on the boundary line. The AFL are trying to keep him on the other side of the fence. They don't want him to be on the ground, but Pete still gets in there. And boy, can he find an injury when he looks hard enough.
Actually, you have a look there. Hey, Sam, be careful, mate. I'm going to need some protection here, Sam. You're going to be surveyed, mate? No, just hang on, mate. I'll just get this off. Now, where does it go? Come on. Don't get the wizard. What? Where does it go? Well, what we've got here is... There you go! Come on. Stand clear, Doc. She's about to blow.
Basically, look, we've had a bit of an injection up into here.
Hate to tell you, Sam, but that needle's got the bigger... No, I won't go on that one.
And there's a bit of spasm that comes down here and really creates a little bit of difficulty sort of in that area there. So.
Now, what about the kicking action, mate? The kicking.
It's the only happy face in the room.
Okay.
And that was James Hurd's injury from last year where his back was spasming. Of course, this year, James will be able to come on and demonstrate himself on the Footy Show.
And he will do that, won't he?
Absolutely, every week.
He'll do that, yeah.
Well, we have plenty of fun and laughter on the Footy Show, but of course there have been some serious moments and some poignant and sad moments, and there was none more than the night where late in the Footy Show we found out that our great friend, the the man, Mr. Footy himself, E.J. Whitten. The bloke who really added the personality. Guys like Jack Dyer, Lou Richards, Ted Whitten were the guys who really set football up as not only a sport but really made it entertainment, and the things we've been able to really come off the back of. And Ted was a fantastic fellow, and that night it was just, you just couldn't believe it had happened, could you?
No, it's the world still goes round, Ed, and while it's a big thing for us, I mean, people wouldn't know if they're not interested in football, but seeing as football is our business, it was a huge story, and one of the great figures of the game, only a handful of them when you really think about it, one of the great figures of our game no longer.
It's been a very emotional night, and we've just heard some news through which I'm sure will touch the hearts of all football supporters. We've only just found out in the break that the great E.J. Whitten, Ted Whitten, has passed away tonight. Of course, E.J. has had a long and sustained battle against cancer in recent times. We all saw him and paid tribute to him at the MCG. He had a great, fantastic life and has been an absolute ornament to the game. And Sam, I know we've only just found out it's hit us all pretty hard, but...
Well, Eddie, I know the show must go on, but if we'd known that an hour ago, the show wouldn't have gone on, because you just cannot do a show like this and carry on like we have tonight with that in the back of your mind. So that's just a...
Well, I suppose
it knocked me down with a feather.
Well, it puts us all into perspective. We muck around and talk about football as if it's life and death, but certainly when a man like EJ, when it hits home that he has passed away, it certainly cleans us all up. And Hawk, I know we've only just told you a matter of a minute and a half ago, and obviously you're quite emotional, but he's a fantastic man and a great man in your life.
Great man, Teddy, yeah. Really great.
All right. Thanks very much, Doug and the boys, Wayne for coming on tonight, to Gary Lyon, Sam for being back in the show tonight, but once again to Ted's family and to all football supporters tonight. We dedicate anything we can to the great E.J. Whitten, who's been a tremendous man for so many people in football, and Ted, we remember you tonight. Ted Whitten, rest in peace.
CSI. It's TV's hottest drama, Case Closed.
America's #1 drama is here on 9.
The plot lines are truly original.
See why it's unlike any other crime show.
It's TV's cult smash.
Did they know that you were watching them?
Are you ready for innovative, provocative, involving drama?
You don't know anything about me.
I know you've got a temper.
The series turning heads around the world.
You're watching CSI.
CSI. It's all here. 8:30 Tuesdays on 9.
Give me a double bacon cheeseburger.
Double bacon cheeseburger? It's for a cop?
What the hell's that all about? You gonna spit in it now? They look like spit to you? Yeah.
Super Troopers.
Colgate Total is shaking things up. New Colgate Total Plus Whitening. 12-hour protection plus whiter teeth.
You only have until Monday to witness the evolution of the species. The Melbourne Motor Show at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre ends this Monday. Catch them before they're extinct.
2 cheeky friends, 1 teenage son, and my own business. I'm Jan Lewis, and this is my day. First, the sexy advice from co-stars that saved Sarah Jessica's marriage. Then the incredible real-life story. Angels promised I'd get my babies back. What's this? Callista Flockhart stole Harrison Ford's heart, and how to get a facelift in a lunch hour. What a great day.
It's your day, a woman's day.
Hey, what's in your pocket?
Take a look. Fresh, crisp lettuce, crunchy zinger chicken breast fillet, topped with a refreshing dressing, and with a hint of exotic spices.
My exotic chicken pocket.
A trace of blood when brushing can be a sign of gingivitis, a gum disease affecting 2 in 3 Australians. But Listerine kills germs that cause gingivitis. For healthier gums, Listerine, it's dynamite against germs.
Starting toilet training is a big step, but pull-ups can help change all that. Try pull-ups, and toilet training won't seem such a huge thing after all.
I'm a big kid now.
They're finally past the doubts and excited about the pregnancy until the shocking news.
I checked the pictures again, and that's when I noticed this problem.
That something has gone terribly wrong. And with Peter deep undercover,
The news isn't good, I'm afraid.
Danny faces the hardest decision of her life, alone.
My doctor thinks I should have a termination.
No, you guys have got to get me out of here. We've got to deal with this.
What will her final decision be?
Do you have any idea how difficult this was?
Stingers, 9:30 Tuesday on 9.
And number one, Old Kerry versus Richmond Centrals. We're looking for a big screamer here. Thank you very much. That's as good as any mark you'd see taken at any competition around the country. That is a fantastic mark. And these one we've had a few requests for, Ed, as our Indigenous friend, putting up a bit of a chase, and good to see. Now we see Waiai versus Blighty.
A great moment in grand final history, this one.
A great moment in grand final history. The siren's gone here. The players all think they've won.
They've gone very happy there, the boys in the orange.
The boys from Blighty in the orange there, they think they've won, but they don't realise the free kick's been paid down the field. And we're about to pan across and see the Waiai player take the kick.
The other thing, of course, Trev, is they didn't realise that the umpire had paid a 50-metre penalty here.
As we see, still scenes of great jubilation as they've had the flag won for 25 seconds now.
Hang on a second.
They've twigged something's up, a few blokes leaving. As we see, confusion reigns as Cleland comes in from the 50 and bangs it through with the talk. Thank you very much. And Waiai take out the grand final by a point. But scenes of jubilation here. The agony and the ecstasy. And now Beverly Hills versus Curo. The kids came here and we see the wanker goal umpire coming up here. Ball bounces through and the goal umpire, well, we're waiting for him to signal a goal. Still waiting. Just got to wait for him to finish dodging himself off. And there we go. A goal. We'll talk about this one. Dougie Inster, the Noble Park player who once kicked 60 goals in a game. He's in the Guinness Book of Records.
This is a soda for him as he lines up to win the game after the siren.
Hartley,
Deliberates, in he comes, and what an absolute disgrace. That's a shocker, Dougie. The classic boundary throw in. Up and over. From Cardinia Cats versus Western Storm, we see the big hammy ball. Let's take another look. Oh, there he goes. The kid who now hates his parents for sending this one in. There he is, and it is pissing down there, as you can see. And here we go, a bit of a highlight from the Seagull. Now, watching the kid go arse over here. Bang, there he goes. Now, yeah, here it goes. Ball comes over and... Thank you very much. Well, yes, those cameras have been whirring out there for the last 8 years, and the audience have provided us with some great highlights.
They certainly have, and even though we have got the vision this year, because we are the telecaster of football, we're not going to be showing any of it on the Footy Show, so keep getting those Almost Footy Legends into us. And I reckon the best story of Almost Footy Legends was a young guy who in 1996 finished first and third in the Almost Footy Legends in the Marks department from Tasmania. And sitting on his couch watching the Footy Show was Cameron Schwab, the then Chief Executive of the Melbourne Football Club, now of course at the Fremantle Dockers, and he thought, geez, if this bloke can take marks like this, there must be a bit more to him. So they went down and had a good look at this kid. They ended up drafting him, and his name is Russell Robinson, and there's a couple of Russell's marks from 1996 on the Footy Show. They were absolutely fantastic, and as a result, Russell Robinson still going around and still one of the top players for the Melbourne Football Club. Sam, another bloke, Glenn Manton. We've had fantastic blokes on our Footy Show over the years, just real personalities. Glenn was a guy who was, just a middle-of-the-road type of player, had no real reason to be one of the stars of the Footy Show, except for one reason.
Well, he came out like a bolt from the blue, didn't he?
He did.
obscure, diverse, lateral, Glenn, and I think the way he plays football, the way he speaks about it, and of course his personal habits and demeanour as well, Ed.
He does. He's a strange cat, as the boys said. He's got the bolt from the blue, as Trev said, as we'll see in more detail in a few moments' time, but does fantastic work with the White Lion organisation, looking after the disadvantaged youth all around Victoria. So, Glenn Manton, this was his introduction to the Footy Show.
Now let's have a look up here, mate. This is a metal detector, or this is a thing. That'd be right. That'd be for the earrings.
It's working better than the goat joke, isn't it?
The goat joke was a winner, mate. Because a good goat will do that, apparently. That's the
badge.
That's the badge. Body nipple piece.
No, I think that's the buttons.
Buttons.
Yeah, that's definitely buttons. Belt.
We'll take the belt off, mate. We just.
It's like the airport here at the moment, isn't it?
Might be the belly button.
The belly button.
Hang on. That's the key.
This is not screw, sorry. We're still going down here? Still. Now let's cut a long story short, Glenn. You got a bolt through the snag, haven't you, mate? Hey? You look...
That's the delicate one.
You look like a hammerhead shark. What actually have you got a bolt through there for, mate? What does it do? You'd have to, when you have a slash, it'd be like holding a recorder or a flute.
This is the first time I've seen any of this stuff back in years. Gee whiz.
We must watch this show one time.
Yeah, it's not a bad show.
I tell you what we've successfully done tonight, Ed. We've made people have a gutful of me before the season's even started. Usually they've had enough of me about halfway through it, but before it's even kicked off, they've had a gutful.
Well, we've got stuck into a few sacred cows over the years, and we've had some fantastic musical tributes to various things. And this one was written by Trevor Marmalade. This was our tribute to the Dockland Stadium.
TV stars, the AFL and footy teams were all going to Docklands. See, out there at Waverley, there's a lot of empty seats. I'm looking for ghosts and empties. That's what Jackson said, believe, so we will all be with sheets down at the Docklands. We're going to Docklands, bulldoze Waverley. We're going to Docklands. We're going to Docklands,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special event on the racing calendar.
This Sunday, they're down on the farm, but it's still life in the fast lane for the Blitz team. It's Backyard Blitz at 6:30. Then from 7 in location, what would you think of a makeover addict's labour of love?
Very attractive. Chrissy. Lovely. It's disgusting.
And a brand new makeover auction.
They desperately need a sale.
I might be dreaming.
I just want to know the outcome.
Sunday from 6:30 on 9.
I was actually on the first plane that went in. Yeah, to go into another country that's been ravaged by war and devastation. It was definitely a life-changing experience. I had a team of 30 soldiers. Basically, it was my job to take control, make sure that the soldiers and the locals were safe. Undoubtedly, all my officer training really came to the forefront. You know, I didn't really think about it at the time, but it was a pretty full-on job for a 23-year-old.
Get ready for a second rush. The fastest hands in the East, 3 teams with the loudest mouth from the West in a knockout comedy that packs extra punch on video and DVD. Rush Hour 2. Get the Rush on video and DVD.
They're looking at your general leadership, communication skills, tactical exercises, public speaking. There's a whole range that they focus on. There's times when it's daunting, but in the end it's a fantastic feeling.
But we're not talking some deep spiritual cleansing, but almost. That's how well this stuff cleans. Relive Apricot Scrub. St. Ives contains a unique blend of soothing Swiss botanicals and 100% natural exfoliants. Those little scrubbers that slough off dull, dead skin, so I get smoother, healthier-looking, brighter skin. Maybe this is deep spiritual cleansing. And now for a sensitive skin type, an all-new ultra-gentle apricot scrub, only from St. Ives. Brilliant!
Looking for the best price on appliances? At Clive Peters, it's easy, with up to 20% off selected ticketed prices this week only. Ovens, cooktops and range hoods, up to 20% off. Microwaves and dishwashers, up to 20% off. Fridges and washers, up to 20% off. And TVs, VCRs, DVD players, hi-fis and computers, up to 20% off. Great store-wide savings are easy at Clive Peters.
Easy. Clive Peters. Easy.
Some conditions apply.
Autumn comes alive at Crown with spectacular live shows and luxurious escapes with quick, easy dining and a world of entertainment. With its magnificent promenade, the place to be in Melbourne is Crown.
Coming up on Nightline, our growing economy putting upward pressure on interest rates. And Kathy Freeman strides out at her biggest meet since the Olympics. That's next.
So why don't you blow it? Oh, come on, girl. You're so fine. You're so fine. You filthy cute, baby. You know it. You know it. Let your body move. Where do you go? Where do you go?
Think I better dance now.
I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more.
Well, it's great to see that the captaincy and the Brownlow medal has slowed Croft down over the years, hasn't it?
Genuinely only one who could make the transition into the world of showbiz on the other side of the world, and that's Shane.
Shane, he's
genuinely can do it, I think.
He can do it. He moves beautifully. Been fantastic, though, over the years, the grand final. And we must say, all the players have just been fantastic coming on the show, really enjoying themselves. And this year we're going to have a very special segment where every person out there in the football community will be able to come onto the Footy Show and do their own act. So that'll be a lot of fun. Keep watching for that one in the next couple of weeks, and you win some fantastic prizes. So a bit of footy red faces coming on to the Footy Show this year. Should be a beauty. Well, boys, we're back on deck next Thursday night, 9:30. You ready to go, Trev?
Yeah.
Okay.
We love it, Trev.
Yeah,
you know.
of course, we're ready to go. Sammy, you're fired up. You've just seen the best
wait
time.
for it to come.
You're really fired now.
Ed, yourself? No, any point asking you?
I'm ready to go.
You've lived it for the whole summer.
He was ready to go in October.
We'll finally end tonight's show with some of the stuff that we couldn't really just find a spot for it in the show earlier on, so we're going to stick it all at the end. We hope you relive some of the great years of the last 237 episodes of the Footy Show. 8 years of it. We're going into our 9th year this year, obviously. We'll see you next Thursday night at 9:30 on the Footy Show. See you then.
And Ron Barassi was a coach of yours. You used to play chess with him over the phone. That would have been an interesting...
It was one of the most boring experiences of my life.
That'll be all right. We'll have to rock him to break the suction.
I'm going. Goodbye.
And if you beat me home, make sure you put the blanket on 3, all right?
Can we get a tight shot on Fred? I haven't seen anybody like this in broadcast news. You sweat it up a treat.
For God's sake, make him feel at home, mate. I mean,
Well, the last time you came on and gave Sam a big kiss.
hang on.
Well, you want another one, Sammy?
That Hyundai have brought out a bigger model, Bob. Kareem, you're tall for a man. Actually, you're tall for a tree, to be honest. I want to know, you've won 6 most valuable players. What, in dollar terms, winning the most valuable player, does that mean as far as a contractual negotiation?
I don't know if I understand the question.
Collingwood Supporters Club half-time activity book. See if you can get through the maze. Try and finish off that and recognise what it is. See if you can connect the dots.
I don't take offence, especially, considering you are a friend. You leave messages on our mobiles and all these type of things.
That's right, mate.
You wore white boots when you played and you were probably a puff, and now you're old and you're having a go on us, but I don't take offence at all, Sam.
Eddie, hello, Eddie, is that you?
Yes, Eddie, but if Fitzroy were playing at the bottom of my garden, I'd go to the windows and draw the curtains.
I can't see what happened to all Fitzroy's money. Like, there's Lions clubs everywhere. They've got, in Geelong, there's Grovedale Lions Club.
You light that up, and that'll be it.
Oh, no, I didn't want to come on.
I'm having a bad streak, let's be honest, Ed. If I fell into a barrel full of nipples, I'd come out sucking my thumb, Ed.
Gee, congratulations on 18 years of fantastic service. If I had licked the same that you did for 18 years, you wouldn't have been able to sack me in 1989, you mongrel prick.
Oh, Buggy. Darren, for years, you've only been a year. You only been a year yourself.
We couldn't get a grin out of him at the end of last year. Now you're laughing and telling jokes. You wait till the season starts and you have another prick of a year, and that'll be the end of it. We won't even be able to get to